Tips and tricks. So we're gonna start with audio. Many things when it comes to audio. Now, if you're coming to the event, we're gonna prepare you with headsets. It's important that you arrive at least 30 minutes before because you need to get mic'd. It also takes a little bit of time to take off the mics from the previous speakers, to disinfect them, wipe them with the whole COVID thing, and then then prepare them for you. But if you are joining us online, please absolutely do not use your laptop speakers and avoid at all cost using the mic from your laptop. I mean, by now you probably have experience with this, but the thing is that if you're using the mics from the laptop, it can create a feedback loop, and then the audio gets very weird. And in that case, there is not much that we can do on our end because the audio problem is coming on your end. So the biggest recommendation, just already something from your phone like that headset, it already improves a lot because then you have a mic that is close to you and then you can hear through the headphones and then there is no feedback loop. Just make sure to have either an external mic and some way that you don't have the speakers going loud, that it can go back into the mic. From the camera side.
Juan, sorry.
Yes. Yeah.
Sorry for interrupting. I have one remark actually for those coming on site, because I made the mistake at a previous event to wear a dress and to actually have no pockets anywhere where you could, store the sender of the headset. So I had to wrap it around my waist and it actually tore my dress down a bit. So for everyone dressing up for the event, make sure there is somewhere some kind of pocket or something where we can actually fix the, I don't actually know what it's called, but the castle from the headset. The sender from the headset. It's a small remark, but it almost tore down my dress. So
that's a very, very good point. I'm actually going to make a note of that to have it present there. Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much for that. It is true. It is very challenging. So in that case, if you wear a dress, either pockets or have a jacket that then it can be put inside the pocket of the jacket, and then the cable hidden behind, like inside the jacket. So very good point. Good. From the camera side, one thing that is important, so position. There is position of you in front of the camera and where to place the camera. Remote speakers, please make sure that you are in the middle of the camera. And what I mean the middle, yes, I mean the middle positioning of the screen as you see me now, but not in the middle of the overall frame. But actually you should leave about this much from the top, and yes, be in the middle, but this much from the top more or less, so that we can see more of you. When it comes to the camera, if you're using your webcam, normally the laptop is on your desk, and so you have this angle top to, like from the bottom to top. And so it's not the most attractive angle in general. What we encourage you is to really just find some books and then make a little tower and then raise your laptop so that you can have that webcam on eye level. That's going to be the best positioning for your webcam if you're using that, if you don't have something else. But don't have the webcam, the laptop on the desk. When it comes to lighting, the biggest recommendation, if you don't have any kind of lighting that can support you, is to be in front of a window, so that you actually have a window in front of you and there is some light directly on your face, so that the webcam can actually capture your face better. And try to turn on as much light as possible in the room, because the sensors from the webcams are quite small, and so they can get grainy very fast. That, and if there is a poor internet connection, which then gets pixelated, is really, really hard. We'll talk about internet later in another slide. But so try to have as much light as possible. Even if you don't have a special light, you can have a lamp a desk lamp that then you can aim at your face or something like that that can light up your face better. If you have lighting from the ceiling, try to find a way that that is not like directly on you, so you have these strange shadows on your face, but like maybe a bit in front of you, and then you get a more even light. For the event, well, when you come, you're gonna find two big lights towards you that are aiming at the stage, so you need to completely ignore them. Just be aware that there'll be bright light shining at you on the stage, because we need to have a very well lit space for the cameras to capture. Background wise, try to make it as clean as possible. That is not distracting the person from your presentation. Try to, if you have some books or something that you can use, could be quite interesting. If you want to use one of those blurry backgrounds, it's up to you. If you want to use a green screen, that's also possible. If you know that's a bit more technical, because you need another tools. But when it comes to the background, just try to make sure that it's something not distracting. Even if it is a white wall, that's fine as well. Yeah. So just keep in mind that it shouldn't be something that can distract people and you from delivering your presentation. This moved. Just a second. And the position in the frame, yeah, that's what I meant, to be in the center. Now, if you're gonna be in the studio, that's not a problem. We will have a camera operator. So if you're moving, this camera operator will follow you. If you're in a panel discussion setting, then you're sitting down. Or if you're not moving, then we'll frame you anyway. So you don't need to really worry about this. Okay. Just to show you a little bit, there's this TED virtual speaker guideline. So you see they raise the laptop, they put it on some books, and the ideal distance from the laptop, that's another thing, should be about an arm's length, more or less. Okay, so a bit more, a bit less, but don't think more than that, so that you have a proper distance from the camera. This is quite nice that we have this guideline, because many times what we have seen is that remote speakers, somebody will be closer and the other one is far away. So if we can all try to strive for about an arm's length, that will make the way you look online more even. Okay, cool. And then you see they recommend, as I mentioned, the light source in front of you, a window. Just keep in mind that obviously it can change if it gets cloudy or not. It's constantly changing. So if you are able to control the light source with a proper light, that will be the best. Good. Slides. And this is then relevant for everybody, whether you're coming to the venue or you are online. Okay. So when you go and present, you should have already your slides in presenters mode. You should already be ready to go, so that when you click on Teams, share slides, they're already big, so that nobody's seeing your setting up, or nobody's seeing your desktop, or like trying to find or see the next slides. You should have them already. The best in this case is then if you are able to get an extra screen for your presentation, that's the best, because then you have on your laptop, you have Teams and you have the call there. And then on the other screen, you have your slides already in presenters mode. And then you can see them and you can see the call, and then you can follow through. Okay, so make sure that then you have them ready in presenters mode, and then when you share your screen, they're already in presenters mode. Format 16:9. Please keep that in mind. If you make them 4:3, what's going to happen is that you're going to get these black frames on each side of the presentation. It's not going to adapt to your format, so make sure that your slides are 16:9. If you are locally presenting, the biggest recommendation would be to use PDF. That way you can ensure that your slides will look the same way as you send them. In general, as you know, deadline is 27th of April, so make sure to submit them. If you're locally presenting, you would use a PDF, because we are compiling them on a local computer. But if you are presenting remote, you're going to share them from your own computer. Okay, so in that case, you're a bit more flexible, not you have to use PDF, but
Juan, sorry,
yes,
Juan, may I
yeah,
interrupt? I have a question because I'm not on site. I will be remote, and sometimes the internet connection at home is not working very well. So in this case, you should have like the slides, and you have them integrated, right? In that case, if it doesn't work, then you could like I don't know, pin it to the next slides, right? I only have like in 5 to 7 minutes, so it will not take more than I think 3 slides anyway. But just in case if it doesn't work, then at least you have them. Is it like
yes,
you have it planned or good?
yes. That's why you see there provide backup. So
Oh,
in
okay.
case that for some reason you're not able to share your slides or anything like that, then the priority is that we can hear you and see you. And then we
Perfect.
take your slides and then embed them directly locally. And then you just need to tell us, please, like next slide. How
Okay.
are you going to see that is for example, the place where you see me right now on Teams, what on the day of the event you're going to see is actually the same signal that we're sending to B2Match, which is the signal that the participants are seeing. So you would see exactly what they see, and therefore you would know which light is on. So you can just say switch light, and then we just switch the slide for you. So this is the backup. But it's important to have it. Like we have had the situation where a speaker didn't send them, and of course then that was the only speaker that had problems during the event, and then we didn't have them. So please, 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 April 27, send them to make sure that nobody needs to stress. You know, if that happens, then you stop sharing your screen. You continue then with your camera and audio, and then we use the slides. If for some reason, then you also need to stop your video. Then we listen to you, and we have the slides. Um, Perhaps what we can do then in that case as well is that you can either make sure that you have a picture on your team's profile. Okay, so that's a yeah, I need to add that here because that's the other thing. So make sure that you have a picture on your team's profile, and that way, in case you need to turn off your camera, at least we have your picture there. Okay, people know who's talking.
Question also from my side. Hi.
Yeah, hello.
Could we try it out with the slides? Because I know very well how it works with Zoom, but with Teams, I would be afraid to mess it up with
Yes.
this full screen and then sharing. I don't know if there is a slot for this also before maybe the presentation, or if we do it today.
Yes, we will do it today at the end. We have a space that we go then and test each one by one, especially with the remote speakers, whoever is presenting remotely. That's why we wanted to know in the beginning so that we can more or less calculate with whom we'll be testing. Yeah.
Okay.
Another thing, when it comes to the slide, please avoid at all costs docu slides. What is a docu slide? You know, those that have all the text there where, you know, you're eager to read from it, okay? The slides are there to support you, not to deliver the presentation for you, okay? So just simply have keywords that are to support for you to follow your presentation. You know, nobody can see what you have on the desk, or you can always have your notes and all that stuff, but just use the slides to support you. Avoid at all costs the docu slides. A rule of thumb for me, in general, if you see, for example, these are my presentation slides. So I try not to have more than 5 words in a slide, one idea per slide, so that it makes it really easy for people to follow. And then no more than 5 words. Minimum size font 30. Keep in mind that some people may be watching you on their phone. Yeah, we're not in a venue where you have a huge screen and everybody's watching you there. People are watching you on their laptop screens. People are watching you on their phones. So at least size 30 for the font. And as I said, provide backup 27th of April. Okay. Good. When it comes to the internet, the biggest thing that I can recommend you is always use a cable. Okay, what do I mean? Yes, you can have Wi-Fi in your house, but try that you use an Ethernet cable. These like I have a little icon there. If you don't have one, you can buy one. You simply connect this cable to the back of your modem. They always have inputs for these cables, and then you connect it to your laptop. If your laptop, because now new laptops don't necessarily have an Ethernet connection, you can always get an adapter. They're less than 10 euros on Amazon. What is going to make sure is that you have a more stable connection and therefore ensure the quality of your presentation. This is the first thing. Yeah, I don't know if you can see it there, but my cable here. So I have the main modem in the other room. There is a connection coming here, and then I'm wired connected there. So just try to connect to the internet with a cable. That's the most stable thing that you can do. The next thing is check your internet speed. Okay, you can go to speedtest.net, click go, and the idea is that you have at least 5 Mbit. I put 10 just as a rule of thumb. The important thing is the upload, because you need to upload your signal to us. Okay, so this is what we're tracking. Make sure to check, please, that you have more than 10. If you don't have more than 10, then you need to go somewhere else to deliver that presentation. Okay, because you will not have enough internet for the day of the event. Make sure to check this. Other things to keep in mind when you're checking. If you check at 5 in the morning, there are less people connected than if your presentation is at 4 p.m. Okay, it does make a difference. So just keep that in mind as well. Try to test your internet connection from around the same time that you will be presenting once you know in the program. Okay, good. How is it going to look like? Here I have some screenshots from some past events. So this was a studio setting. We're actually using the same camera on that day. People will see you in 1080p, Full HD. This will be quite, well, the background will be different, but this is how it looks like. We have the name graphics on the bottom left, and then the logo of the event in the top right. There are more graphics that we use, but in general, this is to give you an overview. Then when you're sharing slides, this is the split screen. This is why it's so important that you are in the middle of the camera, because we crop it and so we frame you, and then people can see you properly delivering your presentation. Okay, so that also at the same time makes the slides a bit smaller. If you have a lot of text, then what we will do is that we actually then maximize your slides on the screen, but sometimes that's still not enough if you have too much text. So to really, try to keep it simple, one idea per slide and so on. So this is going to look like, there'll be a background that is from the event. Also, like all these logos, all this text is going to be brand aligned with the branding and colors of the event. This is just to share with you to have an idea of how the participants will see you, how your slides would look like. On the day of the event, what may happen is that maybe the slides are going to be on the other side and you are on the right side, but that's going to depend on. That's going to depend. So it is this level of important. Like if you're using a laptop and you're looking at the camera, if you see my monitor is this way, right? So you see that I'm looking in that direction. So we check that. And if you're looking in that direction, we'll place the slides on that side. So in the presentation, it looks like you're looking at your own slides and not opposite to your slides. Yeah. So just keep that in mind that we're also tracking this, and that's why it depends if you're going to be on the left side and the slides on the right. When we have podium discussions, then yeah, we'll blend in and we'll have mix of amount of speakers. So if you're interacting remotely with a podium discussion, the people in the studio will see you on a screen. They can hear you in real time. You can easily have a conversation. We're going to use Teams as a backstage. And so you'll be just talking to one another. We collect the signals from there, and then we put them on top of the brand aligned graphics. and we have had up to 12 people at once. Yeah, so we have up to 12 to show everybody. But then obviously in an event, there's only one person talking, maybe two have a conversation, up to three. And so then we are shifting around to whoever is talking at the moment. From the participant side, they don't see the difference if you are in the studio. Technically, they don't see the difference between if you're in the studio or remote. I mean, they can see it on the quality on the image, but in general, they see it all together in one graphic. Okay, that's what I mean. If you go to B2Match, if you need to then take a step even further back, this is the B2Match screen. And this is what they will see if they don't maximize the signal. So they'll have the space. They will see here. They'll see here. I'm pointing at my monitor. they'll see here on the stage where you are, and on the right side there'll be the Slido, which is the chat function tool, where the polls will be, where they will be asking questions, all that stuff. So you need to also then check the Slido tool to see if there are any questions there to answer them. So make sure to track that. But this is to give you an overview of how it's going to look like from the participant perspective, how they're going to see you if you're not maximized on their screen. Okay. This is how it would look if you don't have the slides. So obviously it looks bigger, it'll be full screen, and that's how we go. A couple of things to think about. There is a delay between the moment that the people in B2Match will see you and the moment that you say something. So here we're having a real-time conversation, but on B2Match, if I say hello, in 20 seconds on average, they will hear hello, okay? So there's a 20 seconds delay. This is normal, that's how it works, that's just the way it is. So why is this important? Because if you say, okay, where are you guys joining us today from? And you need to wait 20 seconds for them to hear that, okay? Do you have any questions? You need to wait 20 seconds for them to hear that and then start typing, okay? So the best is to encourage them to ask questions as you are delivering the presentation. So by the moment you finish, the questions are already there. Okay, and we can have some test dummy questions to get the conversation going. So if, let's say, for example, Melanie, I think you mentioned that you have like 7 minutes. So maybe you have some topics that you cannot cover, but you will have time for Q&A. So you can leave that time. You can prepare some dummy questions and leave that for later, and then we can engage to get the time for people to ask questions, for example, something like that. Lena?
Yeah, just a small remark from our and moderation side regarding question and Slido management. That is something that you do need to worry about a lot, because that we will do from moderation side, and we will then answer you the questions, because we're doing a sort of filter and managing it, so you can focus on your content and your presentation and let us handle the question part.
Yeah, what we can do is...
Was that clear or not?
Yeah, what we can do is also that that then we just tell them if there is a question or not, and that way it's easier. Cool. So just, yeah, this is a big thing for you to know, that that's just how technology works. That's how it is. So just keep that in mind. But what we can support you with, so we can, in the graphics that you saw, we can actually have in the middle like call to actions. So we can put there, hey, share your questions now on Slido. If you know that you're gonna be mentioning a link, then make sure to share that with us. We can add that to the call to actions if you have a hashtag. So we can support you with embedding things within the call to within the graphics. There's one line that it shows underneath, and that's to support you. So make sure to provide those in advance. So we have them, and then also we can complement with, if you have a particular link that you want to share, for example, that we know about it in advance, and then we can share that in the chat so that people can click on it, for example, as you mention it, and then support what you're saying with the chat and the graphics. So keep that in mind. If you have any special requests, like for example, we have had that some speakers would like to have a particular song as a background music while they're presenting. That's possible. Just let us know that you would like to have a background song. If you want like a particular countdown, like you want to say, hey, can we start a 30 seconds timer? Then we can do that for you. We can embed that. If you have a pre-recorded video, then we can also embed that in the presentation. If you have a special format, so you saw like how we split it. If you have something in particular that comes to mind, just let us know. And also, if you are remotely, especially, you can always use other tools like Miro, as a whiteboard and things like that, and just simply share your screen and then use that as a tool to engage with the audience. Just keep that in mind that there are other tools. You don't necessarily need to have particularly slides, okay? So that you have other options, and depending on how you want to do it. If you're physically in the room, then this is possible, but it's more complicated, right? So really make sure to let us know in advance. If you would like to have like a demo during your presentation and you're coming physically, and you would like to have then a laptop, we need to know, because we need to set up the connection in advance and have it wired, and it should be a laptop that we have set up, and not that we set it up like 20 minutes before you come, because chances are that we're live and we don't know how that laptop can mess up things. So we need to test everything the day before. So just keep that in mind, that if you want to showcase a demo or something like that, it needs to be provided in advance. We're going to be setting up everything the day before, so everything is tested. And we know that for your presentation, we just bring the camera over, or chances are is that we give you a wireless keyboard and mouse, and then you have a table, and from there and you see it on the screen. So we'll figure something out depending on what it is that you want. But really don't leave this last minute that you tell us right there, because we're live and there is not that much room for improvisation. Okay, we need to know all that stuff in advance. It can be done, but we need to know it in advance so that we're all set up by the time you come. Okay. Good. So that's for think about troubleshooting. Really, please try to join from the app. Make sure that you download the Teams app. That's the best way for you remote speakers. If for some reason it's not possible on your laptop, please try to find one that works. We really, really encourage that you use the app to connect. And therefore, it would be good that then we test the settings, especially if you have a MacBook. Then there are some privacy sharings. The last thing that we want is that you're about to start your presentation and then you try to share your screen and you can't, because it's not set up in the privacy. So if you're a remote speaker, make sure to stick around. We're going to test that today already. Okay. And yeah, like it's different if you're sharing from the browser than if you're sharing from the app. And once again, really important, please submit your backup slides. Okay, please submit your slides so that we have them just in case if we need to present them for you. That's it from my side. So thank you very much for your attention. And are there any questions?